Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us on another episode of Entrepreneurial Truth. Today, we have Matt with us. Matt, I am excited to have you on our show today. Um, and I would like to start out by introducing you. I'd like for you to talk about how long you've been in the business and what you're currently doing now.
Absolutely. Well, I'm really excited to be here. Thanks for having me on the show today. So Matt Stanley is my name. I'm the founder and president of getreviewsandleads.com, which is actually kind of a new brand that I'm building out. But I've been working in the field of marketing and with a special emphasis on website development and design and search engine optimization for 29 years. I started using the internet when it was only about 5 years old, and I just turned 48 here a few days ago. So I've been at this for a long time. But in terms of like business experience, I think a lot of people that get into the work of marketing and agency work don't necessarily choose that. It kind of chooses them. And that was definitely my story. In 2008, I was working for a school district. I was basically the webmaster, and the recession happened. That wasn't fun. But at that moment, I really had this kind of crossroads where I really felt God calling me to go all in on being an entrepreneur. And it's something I hadn't really, it wasn't real because I hadn't made the decision to do it, but the decision was made for me. And I realized that God was calling me to do that. And I'm like, you know what, let's go. And so 16 years ago, started working full time with an agency that I had already started. And about maybe 7 years ago, it kind of transitioned because I realized that the way I'd been doing things really for my whole career in this field was selling things, selling websites, selling logos, selling services. And while selling things has value, at the end of the day, the people that I'm called to serve, they don't really care about that. They need results. So if you're in marketing, which I am, I've been doing, like I said, I've been doing marketing in some degree or another for nearly 3 decades. When you're in marketing, at the end of the day, what you need to do is you need to solve problems. And you need to help your customers grow their business, and you need to help them understand the needs where sales and marketing they're really not the same thing, but there's overlap. And so I just kind of transitioned. I realized if I just keep selling websites, the business is going to fail. And I can't fail because this is something that God's called me to do, and I'm responsible to feed my wife and kids. So I had to start really kind of evaluating how I was doing things and started to go deep. I mean, I deep dive like Allison in down the rabbit hole in the Wonderland, studying direct response marketing and really developing my sales skills and understanding the difference between a funnel versus a website. I read all Russell Brunson's books and went to the webinars and learned from, some pretty amazing people about the difference between, just selling services and selling solutions. And so that kind of, I mean, again, I've been doing this for 29 years, but it kind of rekindled my passion. And now at the end of the day, I'm on the mission to help people be so stupid successful that they have to decide, do I want to just cash out and sell this business for 8 or 9 figures and retire? Do I want to just keep growing and growing and growing and build an international brand? I mean, that's kind of the track I'm on, is just helping inspire people to have the life of their dreams, because every human alive is created by God on purpose and for purpose to not just do stuff, but to change the world in their area of influence. So that was kind of a long intro, but that's my passion. That's my heart. I absolutely love people, and I love doing what I do. And it's my pleasure every day to get up and serve people with the marketing superpowers that God's kind of grown in me over these last 29 years.
And I love it. I love it. When we first spoke, I was intrigued and inspired, and I loved our conversation because I think that what you are called to do is great, and I like a lot of the entrepreneurs that we have on this show. I feel like this is something that we must do.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I have to do it.
Yeah, we must serve, we must inform, we must educate, and it's our duty to do so. Tell me, okay, in this journey, like, I know you've moved into the space of leads, like helping your clients get leads. Like,
yeah,
how is that going, and what does that look like?
Yeah, great question. It's going as well as can be expected, given that I'm still kind of on this journey. When you have a brand that you've established, for so long, and the sales message and the marketing and all that is just really around delivering things,
Mhm.
That's one way to go. It's just not the right way to go. So what I've had to do is I've had to basically reinvent myself, right? I've had to start over, and it's been a lot harder and taken a lot more time and money than I ever thought it would. But I also know that God has set me on this track, and I have to pivot, and I have to
Right.
kind of redesign and reinvent everything I'm doing as far as how I convey what I do. So we're still, we've launched the getreviewsandleads.com website. We're building out some funnels for ourselves. We're producing some really cool lead magnet, items of value that are worth hundreds of dollars that we give away to people that are the right fit. And then if they see value in that, great, let's start actually working together in a paid engagement sort of relationship. But it's still new, and so I'm having fun, but I'm also realizing that how I market needs to change as well, because before it was kind of like cast a wide net, and you catch a bunch of fish and you just all bring them in the boat. Well, here's the problem. Not everybody really is a good fit, and I want to talk about this when you ask the kind of the related questions to that. But
Oh yeah. I'm so
what
ready to jump down that hole.
you know what, I'm having fun, and I'm having more fun than I have in a long time. When you do something for long enough, it can be something where it gets to a place where it's not as fun as it used to be,
Yeah.
right? It doesn't
Yeah.
have that same excitement. Not unlike being married. I've been married to my wife Jade, who I love, for 18 years, and we got 2 kids. Right, one of them's a teenager. One of them's going to be here in a couple of months, and it's like, man, life gets hard and life gets mundane, and if you don't make an intentional decision to keep the passion alive in the marriage, it it just becomes like being a roommate. And I don't know
Mhm.
about you, but man, I didn't get married to have a roommate. I got married to have a life partner to share my future with. So
Mhm.
owning a business, running a business every single day, it can get, man, it can get to be drudgery and a grind. And
Oh yes.
realizing the need to shift to this gettingreviewsandleads.com. I mean, getreviewsandleads.com is the name of the business. It also happens to be the website. But I want to take a moment here and I want to kind of explain, well, getreviewsandleads.com. That tells me already kind of something about what you do. Yeah, it does. But I want to kind of paint a picture for your listeners and for you to better understand the power behind what we do and how what we do is altogether different than what most agencies concentrate on. So here's the deal. At getreviewsandleads.com, I am passionate about helping growth-minded entrepreneurs get off the feast or famine hamster wheel and take the guesswork out of growing their business. That's a big statement, but it also is loaded with a lot of kind of foreshadowing of the perfect future state you'll arrive at a year from having signed on the dotted line just to begin working with us, right? So I want to help businesses. I want to help businesses take the guesswork out of it. Marketing, especially on the internet, for most people, okay, is kind of like magic and wizardry. It's like, well, there's the search engine optimization thing I hear about. There's social media. There's AI in the mix, which is crazy. I mean, I never would have dreamed that would become something reality. Like in the 80s, there's a Terminator movies. I never thought that would be something in my lifetime I actually saw happen. So we're
No.
living in some crazy times, but it's complex. There's a lot to it. There's a lot of levers you can pull to get more customers. And most people in my experience, right, they make this mistake of, and I it's funny because I have these metaphors that pop in my head. I really feel like God kind of shows me these images of things help it convey information that's really interesting and easy to understand, but also kind of fun, right? I love to talk and I love to teach and train through telling stories. And so I call one of the biggest mistakes that business owners make, especially small business, right?
Mhm.
Not enterprise level or medium. We're talking, we're talking the mom and pops, we're talking the startups, we're talking people with no real marketing budget or people that maybe have a line of credit with a bank or a loan, but they're not established and they're hoping that they're the exception instead of the majority of 90+% that fail in 2 years, right? They're going to be different. They're going to make it. And here's the problem. They just try a bunch of things and hope something works, right? So I call it kind of the throw the mud at the wall and see what sticks approach.
Mhm.
Or something else that I see as a big mistake people make is the field of dreams myth. Now, I'm a movie guy. I love movies so much. I thoroughly enjoy movies as an entertainment form. And Kevin Costner, 1984, or whenever the movie came out, if you've seen the movie, you'll understand. If you haven't seen the movie, I'll explain quickly the idea. But the idea was this guy's got a cornfield, or he's a farmer. I think it's cornfield, and basically, his dad, who was like a major league baseball player, died. And he comes back to him and like as a ghost or something and says, you need, if you build it, they will come. So if you build a baseball field, they will come. And the they is like Mickey Mantle and, Babe Ruth and all these like legendary, amazing, awesome baseball players. That if he builds this baseball field in his cornfield, all these greats will come back and they'll basically play ball again. And people will come from everywhere to watch this. Right. really inspiring movie. If you're an emotional person, you're gonna have a moment or two
Hero,
where you're
right?
crying. It's awesome, right? But people do things this way because they don't know anybody. They think, if I build the website, I'll
People
just get
will
all
come.
these customers. If I
Mhm.
put up my social media page, I'll get all these customers. If something online exists where people can find me, I'll make all this money and get these customers. And it's absolute fiction. It's not true. It's a great movie. It doesn't translate in business.
Yeah,
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 you need to have an online presence that's professional and exceptional and stellar and has really good on point messaging. But just having stuff doesn't do the job. You
right.
need to get traffic, right? So you have your website. Hopefully, it's a funnel. Hopefully, you've got some good social media pages and stuff like that. But if you're not intentionally doing intelligent things that make sense for who you're called to serve by getting the right traffic to the website,
Hmm.
you're not going to succeed. And so that's a big mistake a lot of people make. And again, I call it the field of dreams myth, where they believe it, but to
Hmm.
their peril. They need to understand there's a difference between looking good online and having people know you exist. And that's really kind of where the advertising piece as a subset of marketing comes in. And people just try stuff. And I've seen it again. I've seen it hundreds of times, man.
You know,
People try things and it doesn't work, and they blame the
mhm,
medium or the advertising platform or whatever. They don't take a look at, well, hold on, what's the strategy behind the marketing? Is
mhm,
there a business person asking me business questions to help me invest my business resources to grow my company? And most agencies sell services, they sell retainers, they sell websites, they sell stuff. But the
right.
strategy is not there. They figure that's their job. That's the customer's job. Well, listen, man, if you're dealing
There,
with the Fortune 500, of course, yes.
mhm.
But most of the people I've been dealing with for 29 years are not that level,
They
and
don't
they
understand.
don't know what they don't know, but it still kills them.
Oh,
Does that make sense?
it does. I want to, you laid a lot on and I need to unpack it,
Okay.
right? That whole you don't know what you don't know is huge. It is huge, right? It's
Yeah.
one of the reasons why I am doing this podcast, right? To help entrepreneurs kind of navigate through what you don't know, right? So
Yeah.
let me start out with the first part, right? So you're doing web design for umpteen years and you pivot. As an entrepreneur pivoting, right? Explain some of the things that you think are important. If there's an entrepreneur listening to this and they're thinking, you know what, I've been doing this for so long, I'm tired of doing this. This is my new idea. I want to pivot into this new area of business.
Mhm.
What are some things that you would suggest that they do first
Oh,
if they
yeah.
decide to do that?
That's a great question. And I can answer that pretty specifically because this is what I'm going through myself, right? Anytime that I learn something, I recognize that the learning is for me first, but the learning is for me to teach someone else. So if you
Mhm,
learn something, you don't teach it to someone else, you're really withholding blessing from
mhm.
the people that you have influence with. So the first thing I would say is, and I'm gonna be really candid and transparent here today, because I feel like,
Love it.
whatever mistakes I've made that someone else can avoid by hearing what not to do, that's a win for everybody, right? So
Mhm,
I am a meticulous planner. Okay, uh, I'm detail oriented. My checklists have checklists. Before I do anything, I lay it out. I mind map it first, probably in Xmind or Miro. No, I don't. I'm not plugging those to get paid for it, but they're amazing tools. I'm going to mind map it. I'm going to pray first, of course, ask God to kind of lead and direct the process of the discerning the blueprint. I'm going to mind map it, and then I'm going to break it down into bite-sized pieces, and then I'm going to go ahead and execute it. But my tendency, as a person who really has a passionate desire to do things well, not just well, but like excellent, perfect, right? That perfectionist tendency. Perfection is the assassin of progress.
ooh, ooh,
I'm going to
ooh,
say
ooh.
that
Wait,
again
wait,
because
wait,
I
wait.
actually got that this morning. I'm like,
Hold on.
I need to
I need
print
you
that
to
on
say
a
it again.
t-shirt and sell it.
I need you to say it again.
Perfection is the
Uh-huh.
assassin of progress.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's fire. I literally wrote that down this morning when I was prepping. I was like, all right, Lord, give me ideas. Give me downloads to take
Mm,
notes
mm,
so that I
mm.
have an anchor to go back to. And he's like, and he said that. He's like, perfection's the assassin of progress. And he used the word assassin because it's a murderer. It will kill you.
Mhm,
Right? You can wait 6 months to launch and go to market with your idea,
mhm,
and your competitors will smoke you and you're done. Or you can go, you know what? You know, let's go to market with good enough, right? So there's
yeah,
this
imperfect action.
principle. Yeah,
Mhm,
there's progress over perfection, right?
mhm,
There's another thing that I've heard that's kind of interesting. You hear things and you go, I don't think that's right. So I've heard this my whole life. You probably have too. Your listeners probably have too, right? They say, um, practice makes perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not true. Perfection's unattainable.
Mm-hmm.
It's you're never going to be perfect. But because the word, see, I care a lot about words. I'm really precise with my language when I talk. I choose my words before I speak, right? So perfection is this thing will never exist until we're in heaven with, the angels.
Mm-hmm.
Progress, though, is absolutely a guaranteed outcome of consistent behavior, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So it's better to make consistent daily choices towards your goal. I got to point at the camera and know that you're doing that, because if you look in the rearview mirror, if you do that every day for a week, for 52 weeks, for a couple of years, you won't recognize your own life, because you'll be so much farther along. But if you wait for it to be perfect, you'll never launch the website. You'll never start the campaign. You'll never begin that email marketing campaign. You'll never get the social media post going. You'll never launch the YouTube channel. You'll never do anything, right? So I want everything perfect, but that doesn't work. And so this idea that I think is really important for people to understand is something that I learned a long time ago, and I'm starting to get better at actually practicing this with every new funnel, every new product I create, every new thing, is MVP. Now, that's not most valuable player like the Super Bowl. That's not how I use the word. I use the word minimum viable product. Minimum viable product. So whether you sell products or services, it doesn't matter. Whether it's B2B or B2C or both, it doesn't matter what. It doesn't matter if it's SaaS. It doesn't matter if it's selling widgets. I don't care what it is. If you're in business, if you're an entrepreneur, you need to develop your minimum viable product. You need to think in terms of products, not services. And you need to launch it as soon as humanly possible, realizing the first try is probably not going to be perfect or even good enough.
And
it's going to be good enough for the launch. But see, here's the thing. You launch minimum viable product almost as a pilot program or a beta, right? I live in software world. I develop software for a living. Yes, we do marketing, but I'm really getting into the space of software development and helping people, achieve profoundly amazing return on marketing investment quickly by using state-of-the-art software solutions. And so what we want to do is just say, listen, we're going to launch some minimum viable products, and we're going to let the market tell us if we hit the mark or not. If we didn't, take notes, readjust, go again. And that's what it is, right? So business, at the end of the day, business that's like really, really successful, that really transforms lives, the lives of your customers, the lives of the people that work with you, the people that work for you, your suppliers, every part of that process, right? All those touch points of relationship is one where there's a student and a teacher. Okay. Now, the student is you, entrepreneur. Okay. You're the student. You need to be the student. The teacher is your dream customer. Now, I want to talk about this for a second. Dream customer versus customer. I have made the mistake before I knew any better, because people don't know what they don't know, but they still get negatively affected by that, right? I thought, listen, man, I just need customers. If they got a pulse and a credit card, let's go. Woohoo. No. Here's the problem. Not everybody is my customer. If I'm called to be an entrepreneur that's going to help growth-minded entrepreneurs get off the feast or famine hamster wheel and take the guesswork out of the growing their business, that's a really big promise, but it's also a really specific solution. So if that is my mandate, which that's my value proposition statement, because that is what we do, and that's the only thing we do. Anything that's outside that is a no-go. We don't do that. Well, what that means is we have to be very mindful of who our customer is, and okay with, and very, very enthusiastically in support of saying no to most people that might enter the pipeline. Because if you don't already have a budget that you're spending every month, that you're investing every month, I can't help you. I love you. I wish you God's best and all that good stuff, but I'm not someone that can help you, because I can't work with people that already have a defined budget. Number one. Number two, they need to be aware of their problem. Okay. And they need to want to solve the problem. And remember that growth-minded entrepreneurs, I put that in there for a reason. People that have a growth mindset recognize the fact that learning only happens through pain and failure and making mistakes, right? Every mistake we make is an upgrade opportunity. It's an opportunity to grow and learn and be better. Absolutely. For what reason? To serve your customer better, right? Correct. So back to your question, we have to recognize that we need to launch the minimum viable product, but we need to do that based on interviewing and doing market research and learning from, back to the student, right? They're the teacher, we're the student, the market and the dream customer. There are people that are the dream customer.
Right.
They're the
Right.
only people we should listen to, because if they're not the dream customer, then it's going to be kind of a misalignment, right? So you hear this a lot: ideal customer avatar.
Right.
That's what most people call it. I don't
Right.
like that. I don't like that because it's
Neither.
not a dream. So when I say dream customer, that's not something I heard. That's not something I read. That's something I feel like God literally revealed to me. He goes, listen, you need to forget this ideal customer avatar nonsense. You need to recognize who's the dream customer. I'm like, well, what are you talking about? He goes, okay, your dream customer is the person that is so radically different in a positive way than anyone you've ever worked with, that when you get to work and you're working with that person, you question whether you're awake or in a dream, because you got to pinch yourself, because life is so much more fun working with this kind of person. You can't even believe that this is your life. They respect you. They look to you as the thought leader expert you are. They value your time. They don't nickel and dime you to death on your invoices or estimates. They look to you for advice, and then they take the advice instead of asking you and doing whatever they want anyway. They're the people that are the rare unicorn exception that you wish you could clone 1,000 times and never do business with anyone else. He said all of that in like a minute. I was like, oh, that's a totally different kind of species of person. He goes, right. You need to go after those people and say no to everyone else.
Right.
I was like,
right.
That actually makes sense. He goes, and you need to teach other people how to do that. I was
Oh,
like, oh,
that was my next one.
yes.
That was my
Right.
next
So
one.
most people just want customers, and here's the problem: they're a drain on. I call these people emotional vampires. Right? They take 90% of your time, energy, money, and resource, but they pay 5% of your revenue. Doesn't work. That math will never work. I would rather have fewer customers paying me obscene amounts of money per month because they get it. They don't need an education. They just need strategy and help and support and a partner. And they're going to let me stay in my lane and do my job and do me. They do them. I do me. Everybody wins. So if every single entrepreneur thought like that, the sleepless nights about like, oh, how am I going to make payroll? God, how am I going to, buy that new, the new vehicle I need to add to my fleet if we're doing concrete or something like that. We need a new truck because our old ones are breaking. All those questions that keep us up at night and give us heartburn. How am I going to pay for this or that? They go away because you're dealing with the kind of people that are uniquely suited to work with you as what you're best at, right? I love superheroes. I'm a big DC and Marvel fan. I love Spider-Man. He's on my wall up here, Superman, all those guys, right? But there's people that need what you have to offer. And if you're working with people that are not the right fit, you're withholding the blessing of God for the people that desperately need what only you can provide. So we need to focus on who am I called to serve? Exactly what do they look like? Paint an extremely specific picture. Actually write it down, right? Have it on a piece of paper and have tunnel vision. And if the person that you're talking to in your sales process, in your pipeline, is not this person,
then they're not.
It's a no for me, and on to the next one. And start working at getting better at attracting the people you want instead of wide net. And then we got to release 90% of the fish we catch.
Yeah.
That just wastes everybody's time. Does that make sense?
I have to jump into that. I love it. I love it. It makes all the sense in the world. And, again, back to you don't know what you don't know. I wish, that information was out there before, or the information that we're speaking about now is, I wish that it was more readily available,
Sure. Yeah.
Now, in terms of finding that ideal avatar and that dream customer, as you so nicely put it, right?
Yeah.
What are the ways that you can implement that strategy in terms of finding the right people, finding your tribe, finding your dream person?
Very
What are
good.
some ways?
Very good question. Well, one thing that I think is just so amazing, as someone that has lived through just profound technological advancements in my lifetime, is it's gotten so much easier. I mean, if I had the tools that are available today with AI and some other things, right? Content management systems, CRMs, all the just amazing software. I had this stuff 20 years ago. I probably would have already been able to retire. So it's so much easier than it ever used to be. But one of the things that I think is underutilized is this idea that you don't need to have all the answers, but you do need to have some answers, right? So again, most people hang up a shingle, right? They get their LLC, S corp, whatever. They start a business. They start. It's kind of like putting the sign up on the, on the street, and they figure I physically have a brick and mortar with signage. People will walk by and come in and buy from me. No, Field of Dreams again. No. So you have to go get the people you want by first defining who you're called to serve. So it's entirely about them, but it's also about you, because there's activities. This is something I actually learned from Dan Martell. I went ahead and spent the money and bought the book, Buy Back Your Time. If you haven't read that book, listen, I'm not getting paid for this. If you haven't read the book, buy it, or just get it from the library. Buy Back Your Time. Amazing. It'll change your life. But there's activities that drain you emotionally and take your energy and deplete you. And there's activities that energize and recharge and fuel you and help feed your passion. So the kinds of work and the specific types of things within your market, your industry, whatever you do, that just, I feel more alive doing this than anything else. You have to find the intersection point between what lights your fire. I'm a very passionate person, and I'm very passionate about doing what I love. I'm passionate about spending my time, investing my time in people and in activities that, they fill my batteries. You know what I'm saying? And there's certain kinds of work that don't do that. Certain kinds of work that deplete my batteries. I'm like, I hate this. So I delegate to my team the things that we are really good at as a company that I hate doing, but I stay in my lane of what I love to do. So finding your dream customer is, you've got to find the thing that you love to do. And I'm talking love to do. Back to the dream customer, pitch yourself. Well, there's people that make you feel that certain kind of way, and there's work that makes you feel that kind of way. So find the intersection point between what you love to do. If you could do it all day, you'd be like, living my best life, right? And then find the people that need that by going where they are. So for example, I love home services. And that's a niche that I'm really going to focus on, especially heading into 2025. I'm already kind of trying to focus on that here at the third and fourth quarter of 2024. But I really love home services because it's an industry that I really understand, and it's just fun to work in. So let's talk about home services. Let's talk about home remodeling. Let's talk about kitchen and bathroom remodeling contractors. Okay, let's talk about that. So if that's what you do, and you want to find your dream customers, so that's already pretty specific, right? The riches are in the niches is an expression we've all heard, or most of us have probably heard a lot, and that's so true. So you could say, well, home services, construction, that's way too vague. Let's get more specific. Remodeling and renovation. Okay, that's great. That's still not specific enough. Kitchen and bathroom remodels. Okay, that's like about as specific as you can get, unless you're going to just talk about tile or something like that, which that's silly, right? So if that's what you do, and you really prefer to do kitchen and bathroom remodels in, homes that are 500K to 1,000, or excuse me, 500K to $1 million plus in terms of like list price. Okay, well, there's a very specific group of people that are going to even have that kind of a home. So where do people that have that kind of home hang out? Are they on Facebook? Probably. Are they interested in other things related? Probably. So just using some common sense and interviewing people, you find the areas that the people that you want to serve, these dream customers, congregate, and you provide value. So something that is really powerful is to give first. There's a book written by Bob Berg many years ago that was a New York Times bestseller. It's called The Go-Giver, I think is what it's called. And it's this mentality of, I'm gonna lead with value. I'm gonna give something for free of legit value first. Again, back to being a servant, having a heart of a servant, having a love for people to make their lives better and serve them and bless them and help them. I'm going to deliver something of legit value to my dream customer in the environment they're already hanging out. Think of a pond full of fish, right? There's different places that certain people in the market congregate, that they come together for the purpose of community and education and information, right? So in those communities, offer value. It could be an ebook. It could be a tutorial video on how to prep the space for the contractor before they come in. I mean, there's all kinds of things you could do. I'm freestyling. I'm pretty good at coming up with stuff on the spot. So
And
thinking about true valuable that is worth enough that you could legitimately charge money for it and
mhm,
say, I'm going to give this thing to you for free. All I ask is that you opt in with your name, email address, and phone number, and check the box to say, yes, I know that I'm opting in for something free and I'm going to be marketed to. And
right,
you get their name on the list,
you're
and
right,
then you give them the thing,
right,
ideally instantly on demand. It could be a course. It could be a sequence of kind of informative videos and education, how to choose the right kind of hardwood. We had a talking about home services. We had a client a few years ago, and he was a hardwood flooring contractor. And I said, listen, I love you, man, but you're not paying me to build a website. I mean, you are, but you're paying me to be a chief market, a fractional CMO. It was a fractional CMO relationship. So he was paying me to be his CMO. And I said, you have no lead magnets, man. You got nothing. You just say, well, here's what we do. Okay, that's not compelling. I'm not interested, and no one's interested in that. You and 50 million other people, give me a reason. Give me a reason to care. Give me a reason to buy from you, right? The company was named one thing. We helped with the total rebrand. I'm like, this, all due respect, this company name is horrible. It doesn't make any sense. It's not conveying any idea of purpose or destiny or inspiring people. This name's no good. So we did a total name change, rebrand, everything. Lifetime Hardwood Floors was the new name. It was awesome. Had the infinity symbol in the logo we did. It was awesome. Anyway, I said, listen, you need to give something away for free to get people to build up your list. He's like, well, what do you recommend? I said, well, there's 50 kinds of hardwood you could put in the house. They're all very different, and certain kinds of hardwood make more sense in certain spaces, certain rooms, or certain types of homes. You wouldn't put this kind of hardwood in a starter home that isn't great.
mhm,
That's more of a high-end, high-tier material. How
mhm,
would people know what to pick? You need to educate people about the kind of hardwoods, the kind of hardness, the kind of stains, and all. And there's a lot to hardwood. You could write 3 ebooks just on this, but let's write an ebook about this. Let's give it away for free. Let's build up the list and then offer a free estimate. And there you go. And so we did. We produced this beautiful ebook. We wrote all the content. We did a bunch of custom illustration with. It was a really cool one. Infographics and information about this stuff, and beautiful, and call to action at the end. And so, lead with value.
right,
Again, we're a marketing agency. GetReviewsAndLeads.com specifically is specialized. We specialize in. We're really experts at lead generation and systems and marketing automation to really, honestly, to create it's a comprehensive all-in-one marketing system that just puts the sales process on autopilot. Once
well,
you get traffic, software does its job, and it basically helps fill your calendar without you even have to take phone calls. I mean, you can take phone calls if you want, don't have to, but it
yeah,
gets these people in the flow. And so if you give something for free, the law of reciprocity, which is in the
mhm,
Bill Gates book, mandates they're going to feel indebted to go ahead and take you up on your next offer. So offer something for free, then offer something maybe low ticket that
mhm,
gets them investing in your business and building a relationship. And as you earn their trust, you can
mhm.
invite them into a deeper relationship with greater investment, and then solve more painful, bigger problems. The
Pressing
more
problems,
painful
right,
problems you solve, and the bigger the
right.
problems you solve, the higher the investments required, right? So, but we don't want to go, we don't want to go. I use this analogy too. It's like this. When you're prospecting and when you're doing sales, right? If you're in business that you have to do sales, you either do it yourself or you hire a team, but you've got to be selling. You're not an entrepreneur if someone isn't selling your solution, right?
Mhm,
But the relationship with our customers is a lot like a dance, and it's a lot like dating. You don't go on the date and propose marriage the first time. That's not how it works. Well, in business, it's no different. People buy from people that they know, like, and trust, and on some level can relate to and feel there's competence, right?
mhm, mhm,
So we want to lead with value, but we also want to serve and say, listen, man, I'm here for you. This isn't about me. How can I
right.
serve you today? How can I help you today? How can I help solve that problem for you and eliminate that pain that's so frustrating so that your life can look better and you can.
You know, here's the thing. I think that a lot of people don't even realize the value that they have, so they don't even know where to start, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And just pointing out and identifying, here are the things that you could sell. I'm sure probably blew his mind because he probably just thought that everybody knows. Because I think for the things that we do know, we assume everyone knows it, And for the things that we don't know, we just don't even know it exists, right?
True.
We don't even know the problem exists. So for, customers and entrepreneurs out there, the first thing is identifying, what are the things that you do on a daily basis, and how it relates to your business, and what are the things that you take for granted that someone else may need. And sometimes it takes someone like you, Matt, pointing it out to them that, hey, listen, that information that you have isn't common knowledge. Put it
Right.
in an ebook, give it away for free. It's okay to give information away for free,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Something I want to, you said something interesting right there. I want to cue off on for just a moment. So, uh, those of us that have been in business for any length of time, and in particular, an entrepreneur versus a business owner, is something I think, the name of your show right there has the word entrepreneur in it, right? But there's a difference between an entrepreneur and a business owner. I'm going to take a moment to explain that, and then I want to go over to this other thing. An entrepreneur is a pioneer, okay? So if you're listening, you're an entrepreneur, you're a pioneer. And what is a pioneer? Well, a pioneer is someone that sees the future and realizes they're the solution to bring that future from where it is to the present, right? So those of us that are entrepreneurs, anybody can file some paperwork with the Secretary of State, write a check, and start a business. That's not the same thing, though. Being an entrepreneur is saying, I have vision for a future that doesn't exist yet. The market I'm in needs this thing that doesn't exist, and I know I can achieve it, or I can get it and bring it to the market to solve that problem that the market hasn't been able to solve. Mm-hmm. So people that are in the space of an entrepreneur, they live in the future, they see the future, and they go and they make that future a present reality over time, and they just keep iterating. So we see what isn't as though it is, and then we freaking make it happen. Mm-hmm. That's just what it is. That's different, right? That's different than a business owner. So if you're an entrepreneur, you're like me. I have a really hard time. I shouldn't say I have a really hard time. I have a real challenge getting from the land of dreams into the land of the present, and saying, well, that's cool, but how am I going to make it, right? So we have to balance that tension within us to be dreamers and make sure that we're also being doers, right? Mm-hmm. So that's fine. Dream your dreams. We can't be us if we're not dreaming. But if you don't have it in you to both be a dreamer and a doer, then hire someone to come alongside you. Bring in a partner that's really great at execution, that can catch the vision, share your passion, and your heart is with you. Yep, I see that. Yep, okay, cool. Now, how are we going to make it happen, right? Mm-hmm. But so many people have this thing called imposter syndrome. Mm-hmm. And so it's where we're competent, expert professionals in our field, but for some reason we never can figure out or understand. We still feel like the preschooler, at Thanksgiving, at the grown-up table, that doesn't even know how to have the conversation because they're talking about things we don't understand. It's that nagging fear inside that I'm a poser. I'm playing at this. I don't really know what I'm talking about. Now, it's not true, but it is something we all wrestle with because there's always room to grow. There's always room for improvement. And if you're not careful, you can let that talking head inside you, that little voice whispering, sabotage you because you get caught up in the what ifs and I don't measure up here. I don't have that. Forget that. Mm-hmm. You are an expert. You are an expert in something. Mm-hmm. And so realize you probably already know. I'm just going to speak straight to your listener, if that's okay, if I can be that assertive. Yeah. You probably already know and have forgotten 1,000 times the information your dream customer knows or doesn't know. So in other words, you already are an expert in some things. They never will be. And so what you would consider elementary, it's like, well, duh, the obvious, to them is like, boom, mind-blowing revelation. Amazing. Wow, that's incredible. So stop believing the lie that you don't have way more value to offer than you do, and start executing on good enough, right? Mm-hmm. Hire someone like me or someone else to help you put together a lead magnet. Get some stuff out there, and again, good enough is good enough. Be okay with that. Make peace with it's never going to be, if you're a perfectionist in recovery like me, it's nothing we ever put out the door is good enough for me, and it's all good, like it's all amazing. But it's, well, I could have done this better. No. Get it out there and test it and get traffic to it. Get it out there, test it, and get traffic to it. And one of the inside secrets about traffic, for a second, I know you didn't ask about this, but so many people are underutilizing or not utilizing stuff that's free. It's crazy to me. So Google Business Profile, classic example. Mm-hmm. It costs no money to create one. And when it's properly optimized and set up and having content posted to it regularly, it's like free money, man. People are
Mhm.
already searching for what you do. And if you do not have a Google business profile set up, optimized, as close to perfect as you can get it, it's like saying no to money. It just doesn't make sense. But these are things people don't know. They don't think about that. They think, well, I've got to spend, $1,500 a month on marketing for email or this or that. Sure. Yeah. That might make sense for you. But for goodness sake, at least do the free stuff and get that on point first, because it's low hanging fruit. That doesn't take this massive investment of hundreds and thousands of dollars, for months of time to get traction.
Well,
Paid ads is like the one exception, but even that people do make stupid things. They go, I'm going to pay $1,500, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 a month with ad spend on these paid ads. And then they're going to send them to a homepage, and the homepage is garbage because it's not designed for conversion. It's not a landing page. And it's like, your ROI is not what it could be because you're just not doing some of these common sense things. So
I
Google
mean,
business profile, Facebook page for your business, LinkedIn page for your business, social media content,
mhm,
it's lead groups. I don't like lead groups actually. Networking groups, because lead
mhm,
groups mean if I don't bring leads, I'm out of here. And I
mhm.
just may not have a lead to bring, but I still would love to transact some business and refer and help and serve and all that. But getting out there, networking effectively, there comes a point when you just got to hustle, man. You just got to go get the business, but you got to serve people with. If you don't have a serve people attitude, they'll
Mhm.
sell you coming a mile away, and they're not having it.
Well, I wanted to segue into something you were saying, right?
Yeah,
Um, you were talking about, low hanging fruit and all of these things. If you were yourself, you're giving yourself advice, right? The younger version of yourself,
yeah.
knowing what you know now, what advice would you give yourself when you're just starting out?
Oh, that's a
Right.
good question. That's a great question. So first of all, become obsessed with being exceptional in your very specific narrow niche. So I went through this exercise kind of in a second earlier. I said, all right, home services, construction, remodeling, okay, kitchen and bathroom renovation. That's that. I mean, you can't niche down more than that. So get to the specific niche that you want to serve, that you have passion for, and you can really serve as an expert first.
Mhm.
Then be the exception, right? So in business, it's funny these days it's hilarious to me because again, 29 years is a long time to get paid for the same type of thing. But when people call me on the phone to inquire about whatever website, logo, whatever, and I answer the phone, it's amazing how many times they're just blown away. You answered the phone, and they're
Right.
genuinely surprised.
They don't expect that,
And
right?
I went, yeah, I I've called 5 agencies in the last couple days, and I've got everybody. I just got voicemail. Nobody answered the phone. Nobody's called me back. I can't believe you answered the phone. I'm like, wow. Okay, that's a low bar, but yeah, I answer the phone. That's that. I mean, hello, right? But again, that's in my industry. That's like amazing. To me, if that's the bar of the market has, that's sad. But I'm not going to say that's good enough for me. So what I would say is for people starting out, the only way you're going to really crush it in business is if you don't only get customers, but you keep customers. And I want to talk about this for a second. So many people are so focused on getting customers, sales, new customers. They neglect their most valuable resource in terms of revenue, which is their existing clients. So if I'm not careful, I'll go over the place like Manny the squirrel over the hedge. Here's something I want to share with your listeners because this is key. Something that I've developed over the last 29 years that's been that intellectual property that's just guided me through, and it's consistently been amazing, is RACK, RACK, RACK. I like acronyms, especially if they're paint a picture in your mind that you can remember, right? I've got a coat rack on my wall over there. I can't really move the camera, but it's got these pegs. It's mounted to the wall. And I want to share this with your listeners. I think this will help. This will help directly answer your question. So RACK, RACK. What you need to do is you need to reach, attract, convert, and keep your dream customers. Reach, attract, convert, and keep. RACK. Reach, attract, convert, and keep. Now here's the deal. Reach is important because if they don't know you exist, they're not buying from you.
Right.
So reach represents your online real estate. I mean, I live in the digital world. Don't get me wrong. Print has its place, but holy cow, compared to what the internet can do for you, print, why bother wasting your time? It
You
doesn't
know,
make sense.
people still, I mean, I've had tons of people tell me that print is like the king of, and I'm like, well, I get
Respectfully
it in
agree
some.
to disagree with that.
I know. Likewise, I mean, in our marketing and automation, I don't see why we'd have to. But I would say this: having a conversation with someone the other day, and they said that because there's so many people that are not tech savvy, they found that print has helped them with that market. So reach.
Yeah, reach. So reach, however it works, right? And I'm not going to say that print is stupid and you should never do it. What I'm saying, again, back to dream customer.
Right, right,
Listen,
right, right.
man, the dream customer needs to be the laser focused, blinders on the racehorse lens you see the entire world through. And so you got to kind of build a bridge and get over it with your ego and your personal bias. If your dream customers freaking love when that Val pack of 500 coupons comes in the mailbox, we get it once a week and it goes straight in the recycling bin because I can't freaking stand that. But that's me. There are some people that's the highlight of their week. That's like going to Disneyland. They're so excited for those freaking coupons. Well, if that's your customer, I can tell you right now, you're going to be competing on price until the last day you're on this planet. And that's not a fun way to make a living, but whatever. But if that's where they are, if that's what works to, if that's what, lights their fire, fine, do that. Right. But again, reach. So reach is however people find you,
Right.
that however your dream customers are going to find whoever they're going to buy from. So that could be the coupons. That could be print, periodicals, print magazines. That could be paid ads. That could be Facebook page, whatever. Right? Doesn't matter. Whatever. Right? It could be events. People go to events, and you're going to be a sponsor with a booth at an event. Reach. So that's them knowing you exist. Right? Reach. Now here's the deal. That's great, but we want to do what? We want to lead them across this framework. We got now that there's the reach is dialed in. Cool. Well, then what? We want to attract them. Right. So if you are someone that wants to be married and you think blind dates is a great way to do that, bless your heart. That's fine. Whatever. If it works for you, cool. Let's say you got 5 blind dates lined up in a week. It's one a week. It's Monday through Friday, one every night, Monday through Friday. And the person's that's in the dating pool is also doing blind dates and they have 5. Okay. So there's a lot of blind dates going on. If you show up to the blind date and you haven't brushed your teeth, you haven't showered in a week, you got a little BO going on, and you look like you just left the rescue mission because you're homeless, are you ever getting a shot with that person again? Of course not. You're going to show up dressed appropriately for the venue. If it's a high-end restaurant, you're going to wear a suit and a tie, dude. I'm talking like a dude because I am one.
Right.
You're going to, man, your hair is going to be in place. You're going to smell fresh. You're going to have on the best cologne. You're just going to be put together, right? And she better be showing up looking fine, right? Like, God did good with this one. Praise Jesus. She's hot. I hope this works out. That could be the future Mrs. Stanley. You know what I'm saying? Right? But we need to attract them, right? And just because we have a nice looking professional website that's got pretty graphics on it doesn't mean diddly squat if the sales message doesn't compel them to, number one, feel feelings, that number two compels them to take action, right?
Right.
So we need to attract the people we're putting our message in front of so that they come in, right? So that's the A part. That's key. Now, here's the deal. We've reached them. Awesome. We've attracted them, but we haven't sealed the deal yet, right? So back to the dating metaphor. You go on the first blind date. You did your job right. You look good. They look good. Everybody's feeling the chemistry, right? The attract part's happening. But at the end of the day, those of us that are married, we don't want to just date forever. We want to find our spouse, our soulmate, our equal, our partner to do life with, and letting God bless what he's called us to do as a couple. Right. And so the point isn't the date. The date is the means to an end, which is we want to close them. Right. So sales, we want to attract, and then we want to reach and attract. We want to convert. That's where the close happens. That's where the sale takes place. And if everything that we're doing in our marketing or advertising isn't geared for, back to that, seeing the future and making it happen, getting the dream customers to realize we're not a choice, we are the choice. And listener, watcher, audience, I want to speak to you directly here. You are a gift to the world that God made to solve problems. And if you are not understanding your value as a solution provider that is exceptional, you need to help. You need to get some help, with your image, because God created you in His image for perfect blessing.
Mm-hmm.
So having the confidence, like, God doesn't know how to make mistakes. He can't make mistakes. He's incapable of making junk. He does all things well. On day 6 of creation, unlike all the other stuff He made, He said it's good. It's good. It's good. Right? He made the sun, moon, and stars, and the land and the sea. At the end of each day, He said it's good. When He made man, He said, "Oh, it's very good." It's the only part of creation that He used that word "very good" with, and He was right. So
Mm-hmm.
we are gifts to the world, and we need to recognize that when we don't have a bold confidence in asking for the sale, we're withholding someone's future betterment, right? So we
Mm-hmm.
want to convert them as a customer. Now, the last part of the framework here, Kesi, is keep. This is a big one. Most people, in my experience, put 99 or 100% of their effort in the realm of sales and marketing on acquisition.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, if you don't acquire, you don't have a business. But here's the deal:
Right.
it's 7 to 10 times more costly to get a new customer than it is to keep
Mm-hmm.
what you've already got.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know about you, but I hate this when I have been doing business. I'll go ahead and name names. I've been doing business with Verizon for, I don't know, 15 years now. And, they do this commercial on the TV, and they talk about new free iPhone 15, which, I mean, iPhone 15, now the 16s,
I know
what's
where this is going, and they only
$1,000,
market to
right?
the new
And the
customers.
first 3 months of service is free
Oh
and
yeah.
no contracts. I'm like, whoa,
Oh yeah.
back the truck up, time out, man. I've given you hundreds of dollars over 15 years. What are you going to do for me? Oh, it's for new customers only. I'm like, oh, see,
Yep.
that's not good
Yep.
business, right? But most people make that mistake. They neglect the gold mine sitting right in front of them
Mm-hmm.
because they're like, acquisition, acquisition, acquisition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure. But my goodness, serve and keep leveling up how good you're doing serving the people you have, so that the thought of defection is unthinkable.
Right.
You have to
Right.
keep the customers you have. And if you keep showing up, back to passion, right? Most of us, it's human nature, and it's just kind of instinct that if you're not mindful of this, you're going to fall into this place of apathy with your customers. As long as they keep paying their bills, like, what? Hey, they're still paying us. They must think we're good. No. Oh my gosh, no.
You have
You
to
need
ask.
to keep
Mm-hmm.
dating them, right? If you, like, you're married, you got to keep dating your spouse. You got to keep pursuing your spouse. You got to keep discovering and learning, being a student of your spouse, to keep that passion alive, and be intentional with your effort and your time and your money, your energy, or you're just going to get into this place of complacency, and that's not good. Your customers need to know you still care just as much 10 years in as the first transaction they gave you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't think that way, you're going to make a mistake of thinking you're safe, and they're going to leave.
Mm-hmm.
So being mindful that you have to be constantly in pursuit of your customer and continue to serve them and find new and creative, innovative ways to do what you do, right? We all have a superpower. Let's lean into that thing. So just really, really making sure that, the sales message and the marketing and all the stuff you're doing, the advertising, isn't just false promises. It's backed up with consistent behavior where they go, I just can't believe this company is this, is this on point. I get a
Mm-hmm.
card on my birthday. I get a little gift, some kind
Wow.
of
Yeah.
brownies or something on my birthday. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money, but those little things make all the difference. And finding creative ways to acknowledge the value of that person. Because in business, if we're not careful, our customers just become dollar signs in the bank account. But dollar signs in the bank account are owned by humans. We're serving people, right? And none of us wants to feel neglected or taken for granted. So think like yourself. Think like, how would I want to be treated if this business relationship were a personal friendship? If my birthday came and went and they didn't even Facebook happy birthday me, let alone take me out to lunch or give me a gift or something like that, how good of a friend would they be, right? We have to start thinking about our business. We have to start thinking about our business like we think about our human relationships. And we make that one little shift in our mindset, it'll make all the difference in eventually reflecting in the bank account with our revenue. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. Matt, I want to thank you so much for this conversation. It has been phenomenal. I want you to tell our listeners where and how they can find you.
Absolutely. Well, the best way is just to go to the website. So getreviewsandleads.com. Hopefully that's easy to spell
I
without
was
me
just
spelling
going to
it out.
say,
But
pretty
G,
easy.
I'll go ahead and just spell it anyway. GET, get reviews, REVIEWS, and leads, LEADS.com, just like it sounds. And we actually have some pretty awesome stuff we're doing. So we're going to be doing a webinar here pretty soon that is going to be the top 10 lead gen strategies to get customers now, which is ironic since you're asking like how do we get customers. So we're going to be promoting that there at getreviewsandleads.com. Right now, when you go to that website, though, you're going to be shown a pretty awesome offer. We're offering to people, and I'm going to go ahead and say it, you've got to qualify for it. We're giving away $1,000 value worth of product for free to those that qualify. So you need to know that there's certain people that qualify and certain ones that don't, based on just, marketing budgets and stuff like that. But those that qualify, we're giving away a $1,000 Google Business Profile audit and strategy session. So this is legit. When I say it's $1,000, I mean, I charge in the e-com store, I charge $997 for it. But we're going to take the most advanced state-of-the-art software on the planet, and we're going to run through your Google Business Profile with a fine-tooth comb and evaluate the living daylights out of it to say, well, basically it's like a scorecard, right? So great. It's kind of like a report card. Where are the areas that you're doing really well? Where are the areas that need some work? Where are the areas that your competitors are spanking you hard and there's opportunity cost by not addressing these things? And what explicitly and specifically in every nook and cranny of that profile should be done with a literal step-by-step game plan to get that thing to an A+ status so that you can start just dramatically improving your online visibility and quality of leads and traffic to the website. So it's really awesome. And then we're going to talk through that and say, all right, based on asking you a whole bunch of questions with a clarity call where there's no selling, which the clarity call is not to sell you anything. It's back to what I said. I want to understand where you're stuck, what you've tried, what your pain is, what your resources are, what you're doing, and how your goals line up with what that looks like, so that when we get together on the call, we give you a 12-month roadmap of here's what we're going to do to get you from where you are to where you want to be. Now, if you want to work with us, awesome. We'll actually give you an electronic copy of the report. You can have it, but we're going to implement that so that we can help you hit those goals you want, back to the future you want to arrive at. Well, you set the future based on SMART goals and key performance indicators that hold us accountable. And then we build the roadmap to get there. It's pretty cool, right? So pretty awesome. We're excited about that because it's an incredible resource for people to get unstuck and have a fresh perspective, because a lot of people kind of are stuck. It's the forest for the trees. They don't know the blind spots.
Right.
And this is an unbiased third-party resource that's using the most advanced software on the planet, plus my 29-year of experience as a strategist and business strategist, right? Business growth strategist, to say, let's get you unstuck and get you where you want to be. Does that make sense?
Yep. I love it.
Awesome.
Well, everyone, Matt Stanley, thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Your value is incredible. I hope everyone that's listening got a lot of value from it. And I hope to see you again and speak to you soon.
Thank you, Kesi. Appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Thank you.
Thanks. Awesome. Awesome.